Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something that I believe with all my heart. You are not here by accident. You are not some random occurrence in the universe, a product of mere chance or coincidence. You were placed here for a reason, designed with intention, created for a purpose greater than you may even realize. Look around you. Everything in this world, the rising of the sun, the order of the stars, the beauty of life itself, speaks of design, not chaos. And just as the heavens declare order, your life is no different. You are not just a name, not just another person passing through time. No matter where you come from, no matter your past, no matter what the world has told you, there is a reason for your existence. Maybe you've doubted that before. Maybe life has made you question whether you truly matter. But I am here to tell you with absolute certainty that you do. You are here on purpose, for a purpose. And tonight I want to share with you why that matters more than you could ever imagine. From the very beginning of time, there has never been another person exactly like you. Think about that for a moment. Out of the billions of people who have walked this earth, no one has had your exact fingerprint, your precise voice, your unique thoughts, or the path that has led you to this very moment. That alone should tell you that you were not placed here by accident. You were created with intention. The world often tries to convince us that life is random, that we are simply a product of chance, a series of events without deeper meaning. But deep down, every one of us senses that there must be something more. Why do we long for purpose? Why do we search for meaning? Because something inside us knows that we were made for something beyond ourselves. There is a reason why you have your specific talents, your passions, your desires. These were not given to you arbitrarily. They are not just biological impulses or mere interests. They were placed inside of you for a reason, to fulfill the role that only you can fulfill. There is a divine plan at work even when you cannot see it. Even in the moments when you feel lost, when the road ahead seems uncertain, there is a purpose unfolding. Throughout history, we have seen people rise from nothing to accomplish great things. But was it really nothing they rose from? Or was there a greater force at work, shaping them through every hardship, every challenge, every triumph? The greatest men and women who have ever lived did not stumble upon their calling by accident. They were led to it. They were prepared for it. Every experience, both the victories and the trials, played a role in shaping them for the mission they were meant to carry out. Think of the most difficult times in your life. Think of the moments when you questioned everything, when you wondered why you had to endure the pain, the loss, the struggles. And yet, here you are. You made it through. And perhaps you learned something in those moments. Perhaps you grew in ways you never would have otherwise. You see, purpose is not always revealed in the easy moments. It is often found in the struggle, in the refining fire of adversity. Too often, people believe that purpose must be something grand, something that the world will recognize and celebrate. But purpose is not about fame. It is not about fortune. It is about fulfilling what you were created to do, whether that is raising a family, building a business, inspiring others, or simply being a light in a dark world. Every act of kindness, every step in faith, every moment of perseverance, it all matters, because it is all part of a greater plan. The challenge we face is that we often look for our purpose in the wrong places. We chase after things that do not satisfy. We try to fit into molds that were never meant for us. And when we do that, we find ourselves feeling empty, lost, unsure of where to turn. But the truth is, purpose is not something we have to invent. It is something we must uncover. It is already there, waiting to be discovered. Every single person who walks this earth has been called to something greater than themselves. That includes you. Whether you realize it or not, whether you feel it or not, there is a calling on your life. And that calling is not based on your past, your mistakes, or what the world says about you. It was placed upon you before you were even born, woven into the very fabric of your existence. A calling is not just a career. It is not just a title or a position. It is the deep, undeniable pull within your soul that tells you there is something you are meant to do. It is the reason you feel unsettled when you are not walking in alignment with your true purpose. It is what stirs your heart when you see injustice. It is what moves you when you witness suffering. It is what ignites a fire within you when you discover what truly matters. Some people spend their entire lives running from their calling. They are afraid of it. They think they are not worthy. They think they are not capable. They believe that the mistakes of their past have disqualified them from doing anything meaningful. But let me tell you, your past does not define your calling. Your weaknesses do not disqualify you. In fact, they are often the very things that prepare you for the journey ahead. Look at the stories of the most impactful people throughout history. Many of them did not start out as great leaders. Many of them did not feel equipped or worthy. Some of them were outcasts, rejected by society. Some of them had made terrible choices they thought would haunt them forever. But when their moment came, when they realized they had a purpose beyond their own understanding, they stepped into their calling, and because of that, they changed the world. Perhaps you feel lost. Perhaps you feel like you do not know what you are supposed to do with your life. That does not mean you do not have a calling. It simply means you have not yet recognized it. Sometimes, a calling is not revealed all at once. Sometimes it comes in pieces, unfolding over time. And more often than not, it comes through the very things we least expect. Think about the struggles you have faced in your life. Think about the pain you have endured, the challenges you have overcome. Do you think those experiences were meaningless? Or is it possible that they were shaping you, molding you, preparing you for something greater? Many people find their calling in the very areas where they once experienced hardship. The brokenhearted are often called to comfort others. Those who have suffered loss are often called to bring hope to those who are grieving. Those who have walked through darkness are often called to be a light for others. Your calling is not just about you. It is about the impact you were meant to have on the world around you. It is about the lives you were meant to touch, the people you were meant to help, the difference you were meant to make. It does not matter if the world does not see it. It does not matter if others doubt it. What matters is that the calling exists. It is there, waiting for you to answer. Some people ignore their calling because they are afraid of change. They are comfortable where they are, even if they are not truly happy. They have convinced themselves that stepping out in faith is too risky. But let me ask you, what is the cost of ignoring your calling? What happens when you settle for a life that was never meant for you? What happens when you allow fear to hold you back from becoming who you were created to be? There are people in this world who need you to step into your calling. There are people who are waiting for the gifts you have to offer. There are people who will never find hope unless someone like you brings it to them. Do not let fear silence the voice inside you that is calling you towards something greater. Do not let doubt keep you from fulfilling the mission you were created for. Your calling is there, whether you recognize it or not. And the moment you decide to embrace it, everything will begin to change. Doubt and fear are two of the greatest enemies of purpose. They creep into the mind, whispering lies, convincing you that you are not enough, that you do not have what it takes, that your past is too broken, that your weaknesses are too great. They tell you that the obstacles ahead are too large, that the mountain is too steep, that the journey is too difficult. And if you listen to those voices long enough, they will paralyze you. They will keep you from ever stepping into the life you were meant to live. But where do doubt and fear come from? They are not born from truth. They are not grounded in reality. They are illusions, distractions meant to hold you back. Doubt is the result of looking at yourself instead of looking at the purpose that was placed within you. Fear is the result of focusing on what could go wrong instead of trusting in what is possible. Every person who has ever accomplished anything great has had to face doubt and fear. The strongest leaders, the greatest minds, the most courageous individuals in history, all of them had moments where they questioned themselves. They wondered if they were capable. They wondered if they were qualified. They wondered if they were making a mistake. The difference is, they did not let their doubts define them. They did not let fear stop them. You see, fear is not the real problem. Doubt is not the real obstacle. The problem is what you choose to do with them. Will you allow fear to keep you frozen in place? Will you allow doubt to convince you that you are not good enough? Or will you recognize them for what they are, barriers that must be broken through, illusions that must be cast aside? Fear often disguises itself as wisdom. It tells you to be cautious. It tells you to wait until you are stronger, until you are more prepared, until the timing is perfect. But let me ask you, when is the perfect time? When will you ever feel fully ready? If you wait until every doubt is gone, if you wait until every fear has disappeared, you will wait forever. The truth is, you do not need to have every answer to take the first step. You do not need to know the whole path before you begin the journey. Every great achievement, every fulfilled purpose, every meaningful life begins with a single step, taken despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the uncertainty. Doubt will tell you that you are not worthy. It will remind you of every failure, every shortcoming, every mistake. It will point out your weaknesses and make them seem bigger than they are. But what doubt does not tell you is that even the most successful people have failed. Even the strongest people have struggled. Even the most confident people have battled insecurities. The difference is, they did not allow those things to define them. Fear will tell you that you are alone, that no one understands what you are going through, that no one else has struggled the way you have. But fear is a liar. You are not alone. You are not the only one who has faced obstacles, who has questioned themselves, who has felt unworthy, and if others have walked through the fire and come out stronger, so can you. There is something inside of you that is greater than the fear that tries to hold you back. There is something stronger than the doubt that tries to weaken you, and the moment you choose to believe that, truly believe it, everything changes. Think of the moments in your life when you faced something you thought you could not handle. Think of the times when you felt like giving up, but kept going anyway. What happened? You made it through. You grew. You became stronger. And if you overcame fear and doubt then, you can overcome them now. Fear thrives in hesitation. Doubt grows in delay. The longer you wait, the louder they become. The more you question yourself, the more they tighten their grip. The only way to silence them is to move forward in spite of them, to take action even when you feel uncertain, to push forward even when you do not have all the answers. You may not feel ready, you may not feel strong enough, but strength is not something you wait for, it is something you develop along the way. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is choosing to move forward despite the fear. And purpose is not something you will find by standing still, it is something you will discover by taking the first step, even when you are afraid. Life is made up of choices. Every day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you are making decisions, some small, some life-altering. You may not always realize it, but the direction of your life is being shaped by the choices you make, one by one. The power of choice is one of the greatest gifts given to mankind. No matter where you were born, no matter what circumstances you have faced, you have the ability to choose how you will respond to life. You may not be able to control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you react. And in that reaction, in that decision, lies your destiny. Think about the course of your life so far. Every major event, every turning point, every lesson learned can be traced back to a choice. Some choices led to success, some to failure, some to moments of joy and others to moments of regret. But each decision, whether big or small, has played a role in shaping the person you are today. The world will try to convince you that you do not have control over your life, that your circumstances dictate your future, that your past determines your potential, that the opinions of others define who you are. But that is not true. The reality is, you are not a prisoner of your circumstances. You are not limited by what has happened to you. You are only limited by the choices you make in response. There are people who have been given every advantage in life, yet they squander it through poor choices. And there are others who have come from the lowest, most difficult situations and have risen above because they chose not to be defined by their past. The difference is not luck. It is not chance. It is choice. Every time you are faced with a challenge, you have a choice: to let it defeat you or to use it as a stepping stone. Every time you experience failure, you have a choice: to let it break you or to learn from it and grow stronger. Every time you face fear, you have a choice: to shrink back or to push forward. The power of choice is also the power of responsibility. It means that you cannot always blame others for where you are in life. It is easy to point fingers at the past, at people who have wronged you, at situations that were unfair. And while it is true that life is not always fair, it is also true that you still have the ability to choose what you do with what you have been given. Some choices seem small, insignificant, but over time they add up. A single decision can set off a chain reaction that changes everything. A single moment of courage can alter the course of your life forever. A single step in the right direction can lead to places you never imagined. But the danger of choice is that too many people refuse to make one. They hesitate, they wait, they let life happen to them instead of deciding how they will shape it. They live passively, going wherever the wind blows, allowing circumstances to dictate their future. But indecision is a choice in itself, a choice to remain stuck, a choice to let fear win, a choice to let opportunities pass by. The hardest choices are often the most important ones. The choice to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. The choice to do what is right even when it is difficult. The choice to step into the unknown even when you are afraid. No one else can make these choices for you. No one else can walk your path. No one else can take responsibility for your life. You alone have that power, and what you choose to do with it will determine everything. There are moments in life when the darkness feels overwhelming, when the weight of circumstances, the pain of the past, or the uncertainty of the future makes it seem as if there is no way forward. It can feel like you are walking through a valley where no light reaches, where every step is filled with doubt, fear, and sorrow. In those moments, it is easy to believe that the darkness is all there is, that it is permanent, unshakable, and endless. But darkness is never the final word. No matter how deep the night may seem, even the smallest light can break through. A single candle in a dark room is enough to drive out the shadows, and just like that candle, you were not meant to be consumed by darkness. You were meant to shine, to rise, to push back against the hopelessness that tries to take hold. Darkness comes in many forms. It can be the grief of losing someone you love. It can be the pain of betrayal. It can be the burden of regret, the weight of mistakes that you wish you could undo. It can be fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. It can be loneliness, feeling like no one understands what you are going through, like you are wandering through life without direction or purpose. But no matter what kind of darkness you face, light is never far away. The greatest mistake people make in the darkest times of their lives is believing that they have to fight through it alone, that they have to carry the burden on their own shoulders, that there is no hope, no help, no way forward. That is the lie that darkness whispers, to make you feel isolated, defeated, and without purpose. The truth is, even when you cannot see the light, it is still there. Even when the road ahead is unclear, there is a way forward. Even when everything around you seems to be falling apart, there is something greater at work, something guiding you, leading you towards something better. Have you ever been in a completely dark room and suddenly someone turns on a light? No matter how small the light is, it immediately transforms the space. It gives clarity, direction, and hope. It allows you to see what was hidden, and just like that, even the darkest moments in life are not without hope. A single spark of truth, a single moment of courage, a single step forward can begin to change everything. Sometimes the light comes through people, through the kindness of a friend, the encouragement of a stranger, the wisdom of someone who has walked through the same valley and found their way out. Sometimes the light comes through time, through patience, through endurance, through pressing forward even when the way is unclear. Sometimes the light comes through purpose, through discovering that even the pain you have endured can be used to bring hope to someone else. And sometimes the light comes from within you. You may not feel strong. You may not feel like you have anything to offer, but even in the midst of your struggles, you have the power to be a light for others. You have the ability to bring hope where there is despair, to bring encouragement where there is doubt, to bring kindness where there is bitterness. The world is full of darkness, but it is also full of light. The question is, where will you choose to focus? Will you let the darkness consume you, or will you seek the light, no matter how small it may seem? Will you allow fear and sorrow to define your story, or will you hold on to the hope that something greater is ahead? So many people go through life consumed by the temporary, chasing after success, wealth, approval, and comfort. They pour their energy into things that will not last, things that fade with time. They measure their worth by what they own, by how others see them, by achievements that will one day be forgotten. And in doing so, they lose sight of what truly matters. But life is more than what we see in the here and now. There is a greater purpose, a higher calling, something beyond the fleeting moments of this world. When you live with an eternal perspective, you begin to see everything differently. You begin to realize that the things most people strive for, the things they worry about, fight for, and even sacrifice their integrity for, are only temporary. They may bring pleasure for a moment, but they do not last. They do not satisfy the deepest longings of the soul. An eternal perspective shifts your focus from the temporary to the lasting. It changes the way you see trials, struggles, and even success. When you understand that your life is part of something much bigger, the things that once consumed your thoughts lose their grip on you. Fear begins to fade. Worry no longer controls you. The approval of others no longer defines you. You begin to live for something greater than yourself. Think about the things that cause stress and anxiety. Much of it is rooted in the temporary: fear of losing money, fear of what people think, fear of failing in a career or a relationship. But what if those things are not the ultimate measure of your life? What if the true measure of your life is not found in what you gain, but in what you give? Not in how much you accumulate, but in how much you impact others. When you live with an eternal perspective, setbacks no longer shake you the way they once did. Pain takes on a new meaning. You realize that struggles are not the end of the story, but part of the journey. Hardships that once seemed unbearable now have purpose. Instead of being consumed by the present difficulty, you start to see how even the trials of today are shaping you for something greater. Living with an eternal perspective does not mean ignoring the present. It does not mean dismissing the responsibilities of this life. It means understanding that everything you do here has meaning beyond what you can see. It means living with purpose, knowing that your words, your actions, your choices, and your character will leave a legacy far beyond your time on this earth. Many people spend their lives chasing things that will not last. They invest in material wealth but neglect the wealth of the soul. They seek recognition from others but forget that the only recognition that truly matters is from something far greater than human applause. They live as if this life is all there is, only to reach the end and realize they spent their years building something that will not endure. But when you live with eternity in mind, your priorities change. You begin to value different things. You start focusing on the impact you have on others, rather than just what you can gain for yourself. You begin to see relationships as more important than status, integrity as more valuable than success, and purpose as greater than comfort. Living with an eternal perspective gives you clarity in a world full of confusion. It gives you strength in the face of adversity. It gives you peace when everything around you is uncertain. Because you are no longer living just for the present moment. You are living for something that will last forever. Life is full of decisions, some small and routine, others life-changing and permanent. Every day we make choices that shape our future, influence our relationships, and determine the kind of person we are becoming. But among all the decisions we face in life, there is one that stands above the rest. It is not a decision someone else can make for you. It is not something you inherit, stumble into, or passively receive. It is a personal decision, one that defines the course of your life and echoes into eternity. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must decide, who am I? Why am I here? What do I stand for? What will I give my life to? The world is filled with voices trying to answer those questions for you. Society tells you to chase success, wealth, and approval. Culture pressures you to follow the crowd, to fit in, to blend into the expectations of others. But at the end of the day, no one else can live your life for you. No one else can walk your path. No one else can choose the direction in which you will go. That is a choice only you can make. Many people go through life avoiding this decision. They drift. They follow whatever feels right in the moment. They let circumstances shape them rather than taking responsibility for their own direction. They allow fear to keep them from making the hard choices, or they wait for the perfect moment to commit to something greater. But the reality is, every day that passes without a decision is a decision in itself, a decision to remain where you are, to let life happen to you rather than taking control of your destiny. A personal decision requires commitment. It is not something you do half-heartedly. It is not something you can choose one day and abandon the next. It requires conviction, courage, and a willingness to stand firm even when the world around you pulls in the opposite direction. The hardest decisions in life are rarely the most convenient ones, but they are always the most important. There will always be voices that tell you to delay your decision, to wait until you are more prepared, until you have everything figured out, until you feel completely ready, but waiting is often just another form of fear. The truth is, no one ever feels completely ready for the most important decisions in life. No one ever has all the answers before taking a step of faith. But at some point you must decide. You must choose the path you will take, and once you do, you must walk it with unwavering commitment. A personal decision also means taking ownership of your life. Too often people blame their circumstances, their past, or other people for where they are. And while it is true that life is not always fair, it is also true that each person has the power to choose how they respond. No one else is responsible for your life but you. No one else will stand in your place when your time on this earth is over. That is why this decision is personal. It cannot be forced. It cannot be made for you. It is a choice you alone must make. There will always be distractions trying to pull you away from what matters most. There will always be things competing for your time, your energy, and your devotion. The world will always try to offer temporary comforts in exchange for eternal purpose. But in the end, what will matter is not how much wealth you accumulated, how many people admired you, or how comfortable your life was. It will be the decisions you made, the commitments you kept, and the legacy you left behind. No one else can make this decision for you. No one else can force you to take responsibility for your life. It is a choice you must make on your own, and once you do, it will shape the rest of your life in ways you never imagined. At the heart of everything we have spoken about today, purpose, choice, overcoming fear, living with an eternal perspective, lies one undeniable truth. You are not here by chance. Your life has meaning, your decisions have weight, and your journey is not without direction. But in the end, no one else can walk this path for you. The choices you make today will shape not only your future, but the impact you leave behind. You have been given the power to rise above doubt, to shine light in the darkness, to step into a purpose far greater than yourself. Do not waste your days chasing what is fleeting. Do not allow fear to paralyze you. Do not drift through life waiting for the perfect moment to decide. The moment is now. The choice is yours, and what you do with it will echo beyond anything you can see today.